The price of XRP is at a critical level right now, and in this video, I want to talk about where XRP is currently trading and what it needs to do to continue its momentum to the upside. I also want to go over some brand new attacks coming at XRP. Guys, there's something pretty shocking going on right now in the background. It looks to be a coordinated FUD effort against XRP. In this video, I want to talk about that, so make sure to stick around for this whole thing. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. I want to start this video off and take a look at some of the FUD attacks recently coming after XRP, and I think it's so interesting that these FUD attacks seem to be coordinated. Now, Paul Barron is one of the first people to really point this out because he actually has a software that analyzes different levels of bot activity in regards to different cryptocurrencies. One of the interesting things he found was that there's actually relatively low bot activity in the XRP community when you compare it to other cryptocurrencies out there. And that's because there's a lot of genuine interest in XRP. I think the use case for XRP is obvious. And when you're looking at top tier cryptocurrencies that could actually be used to transform the financial system as we know it today, nothing screams success and a actual well-run project more than XRP. Because of that, XRP has got a lot of natural demand. But obviously, there's a lot of projects out there that are looking to take that place, replace XRP, do something better than XRP. And for them, the only thing they can really do is spread FUD or try to trick people into thinking that for some reason what they're producing will be better than where XRP is already positioned. Now that seems to be a big place where FUD is coming from. But there's no doubt there's a lot of FUD also coming from the Bitcoin side of the world as well. I want to play you this video recently posted by Digital Asset Investor because it's going to show you how asinine a lot of these attacks against XRP really are. These attacks don't ever come with any kind of stats. They don't ever come with any kind of metrics. They don't actually come with any kind of facts that could actually tell someone, oh yeah, this is a reason why XRP is bad. Instead, they're always emotional attacks because they are scared that XRP will replace everything Bitcoin was meant to be. If you take a look at the early white paper of what Bitcoin was for, it was to be a peer-to-peer payments technology. It was to transform the way money moved. And then ultimately, Bitcoin failed so badly at those things, they had to change the narrative and now call it a store of value or digital gold. But this is really hard for a lot of Bitcoiners to accept. The fact that XRP is still being used for its primary use case as a settlement token, a liquidity token, a network to settle value globally, cross borders or even intra-border, but creating uniform liquidity and instantaneous settlement between any form of value issued on the internet. These are the things that Bitcoin was really meant to do. And XRP was created to be a better Bitcoin. And for all intents and purposes, it looks like it is in fact doing that. There didn't have to be a narrative switch for XRP. XRP stayed true to its goal of solving the Internet of Value problem. Meanwhile, Bitcoin has essentially given up on that mission and is now just being positioned as a store of value. Now, for a lot of people, especially in the Bitcoin community, I think this is a really hard thing to digest. But I want to play you this clip of Bitcoiners actually talking about this because I think you'll start to see how absurd their arguments against XRP really are when we break down exactly what they talk about in this video. So let's listen up and then talk about it.
Right, it's the same shit. They're just lying to people. They're creating this pyramid scheme and trying to dump their bags on people forever.
Yeah, and I would argue that if Bitcoin didn't exist, the government would shut something like this down.
Yeah.
This is illegal counterfeiting.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that the reason that Gary Gensler hasn't gone after all of these cryptocurrencies, I mean, if he would have said a couple of years ago, hey, these are all unregistered securities, we're going to go after every single one of them. I don't care if it takes the government 100 years. What would happen? Everything would go into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then maybe you have a few idiots that are like, oh, we're going to take it over and it's going to rip, but it's I think it's a psyop. I think that there's really important people who understand that the game theory is playing out. You can't change the protocol. How do you stop the Bitcoin price from going through the roof?
Yeah.
You let people get wrecked behind shit like this.
Yes, which is why XRP is for retards, and it is retarded.
And evil
it's
people.
causing retardation, actually, of Bitcoin adoption. Now, it's hard to say, right? You can't rerun these experiments. Would Bitcoin adoption be going on faster if there weren't all this market cap in XRP? Maybe, maybe not. But we can say that every retard that falls for the XRP PSYOP and puts their purchasing power in XRP rather than Bitcoin, well, that's non-accretive to Bitcoin. Although in the long run, when this thing blows up, as it inevitably will, it will trigger a stampede of people out of XRP into Bitcoin. So although it might retard Bitcoin adoption in the short run, it's likely to amplify it in the long run. This is one of those, you get into these weird scenario spaces where you realize like everything is good for Bitcoin.
I was just going to say that. And all roads lead to Bitcoin.
Yeah, you just can't avoid it.
So maybe this is
So as you can see there, they have a lot of negative things to say about XRP, but nothing actually is substantial. And what you'll notice is their arguments always come to one thing. It's, oh, this is taking attention away from Bitcoin. Oh, we need the government to get rid of these things. Oh, we need these things illegal. But they don't actually have any reason for why that should be the case. It's always an emotional argument about why XRP shouldn't exist, but at the end of the day, it's existing and continuing to succeed because it is doing things that Bitcoin can't do. And this is one of the things that these people struggle with so much. It's not that XRP shouldn't exist and it's repetitive and it's doing all the same thing Bitcoin's doing. No, in fact, it's doing a lot of things that Bitcoin can't do and might never be able to do. And because of that, the usefulness of the blockchain technology to these financial institutions, that is going to cause financial institutions and other players in the market to gravitate towards protocols that can solve their problems, and they're not going to care if it's XRP or Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency network. They just want their problem solved, and if Bitcoin can't solve those problems, the money's going to go elsewhere. This is the thing these people can't wrap their head around. They're so emotionally tied to Bitcoin, they can't see the obvious fact that Bitcoin simply can't solve some of these problems. There's no tokenization, there's no market making. There's a lack of a lot of very important feature sets that the Bitcoin chain simply will never be able to support. And because of that, financial institutions and people are finding use cases in other protocols. And it's not that hard to understand why that is happening. It's actually painfully obvious. But these people have to look for other crazy things to try to essentially discredit these other networks. They talk about how XRP is being dumped on retail. Well, what do you think happens when Bitcoin miners sell Bitcoin? What do you think happens when Bitcoiners in the very early days choose to take profits? They sell Bitcoin. Just like the same exact thing happens with XRP, where XRP gets sold. It's an open, free market. People are going to buy and sell these assets, but this constant, I guess, coordinated FUD attempt to try to make all of this seem like it makes XRP useless or there's no need for XRP. The market completely disagrees. What we're seeing is more and more people are gravitating towards XRP because the things it can do that Bitcoin will never be able to. And you just always need to understand that the reason why these people are throwing so much shade at XRP is not because there's any technical reason or any facts that you should be worried about or stuff like that. No, it's actually because XRP has become so successful and is gaining so much adoption that now they're worried that it will one day become what Bitcoin was meant to be from the start. That is why these people are so terrified. They know there's nothing they can say that's actually going to discredit or disprove XRP's usefulness. The only thing they can do is try to scare people and FUD people with things that don't matter. With that said, though, I want to move into the XRP price chart because I think this is extremely interesting. Right now, we have XRP at a pretty critical zone, right around this $2.80 mark. This was a resistance for a bit. It then acted as a short-term support. Now it's acting like a long-term support, and we're seeing XRP really playing with this line right now. Now, if we're to draw another line on top of this, we can see XRP is also stuck under a descending resistance. So we've got this support here at the $2.80 mark, and we have this resistance coming down. This looks like we'll probably have a break out of this current trading zone at some time in September. Now, Coincidentally, I also think that's when you're going to start to see a lot of these XRP ETFs get over the finish line. So I think those are going to provide a very positive catalyst for XRP ultimately to break to the upside. But it looks like we've got a little bit more chop left in this range, and we really want to see this $2.80 mark hold so XRP can sustain itself above the previous all-time high. If we just zoom out here and take a quick look at a weekly chart or a monthly chart, we can see that right now XRP is trading perfectly at that 2017, 2018 all-time high. So what we really want to see is XRP to stay above here, which means holding that $2.80 mark that we just outlined. So that's going to be a pretty critical spot for XRP to hold. If it does so, I think that's going to be extremely bullish for what's yet to come. And I think we have a lot of positive catalysts also pulling XRP in that upwards direction. It's just a little bit of consolidation, a little bit of sideways trading as the market figures itself out. But I think between rate cuts, between the ETFs, between the positive catalysts going on with the entire cryptocurrency in general, I think obviously we are going to see a lot more growth ahead for XRP. And this is nothing more than just some consolidation or the calm before the storm. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. And for now, Mickle out.